Hey YouTube, Healthinator here, and today we're going to talk about the benefits of CBD. It's all not the same. I have two special guests today. I have Dexter here from M&M Naturals, and I have my dog Chloe here. She's going to sit in for a little bit. Want to say hi, Chloe? Hi. That's Chloe. So Dexter, let's get started here. How long have you been in the CBD field, and what got you started in the CBD field?
So formally, my company's been around for about 2 years, but I have been researching and using CBD for about 8 years now. And it all started when my dog Achilles, he ended up getting heat stroke, pretty severe heat stroke, and his organs began to break down.
Oh, geez.
So blood was coming out of his eyes, his ears, his nose, his mouth, his anus, and he was even sweating blood out through his skin.
Oh, boy.
Doctors gave him less than a 5% chance to live, but he's a really stubborn guy. He pulled through, but because of the damage to his organs, specifically his liver and his kidneys, the doctors gave him less than 2 years to live.
Oh, jeez.
Immediately afterwards, because of the damage to his organs and his hormonal systems, he got 2 forms of cancer. Mast cell tumors and basal cell tumors. And we were having operations done on him every 6 to 8 weeks to get tumors cut off of him to keep him alive. And
fighting battle.
It was a fighting battle, and we were losing, to be completely honest with you. And the doctors pretty much told me to give up, that even if we continued down this route, he had less than 1.5 years to live.
Oh, jeez.
I didn't like the response, so I changed up what he ate, how he ate, when he ate, his exercise, and a big thing was his supplementation.
Good.
The cornerstone of his supplementation was CBD. And ever since then, I've been in love with it. It worked perfectly. And Achilles, he was diagnosed with all of this when he was 5 years old, given less than 2 years to live. He was very young. He's alive today. He turned 13 August 5th. And average lifespan...
Give me some here. That's great. Do you hear that?
Turned 13 August 5th. Average lifespan for his type of American Bulldog, which is a Johnson-style American Bulldog, is 9 to 11. And something that's been absolutely critical to his health and longevity has been CBD. And once I saw the results in that, I couldn't stay silent.
So he beat all the odds.
He beat all the odds. He proved
great.
A panel of several doctors wrong from several different facilities. And
love it.
I couldn't stay silent anymore. I had to jump in the field because I saw that so many people's pets and even their loved ones, their family members, were dying, where a good quality CBD product could probably make the difference.
I'd like to mention he also has his for pets, but he also has it for humans. So yes. he covers both bases. So nowadays we're hearing all kind of CBD. We're seeing it everywhere. So how do you tell what is good and what is garbage? I mean, there's so much saturation. What's your opinion on finding solid, rock solid, good, gold standard CBD?
That's a great question, Healthinator. And in my opinion, it all starts with the genetics of the plant. That's what is going to limit the product entirely. So always talk to a CBD provider about the genetic strain that they are using, because you can't make a great product out of garbage genetics. It will never ever happen. It's not possible. And talking with them will also show their expertise in the field. There's over 3,500 CBD companies in the United States today. I know of maybe 50 of whom actually know their genetics, what they're doing, and are constantly improving upon it, so they ensure that their products are actually good and helping people.
So most of them are subpar.
I would agree, yes. Unfortunately, what most companies use, they use something called industrial hemp, which is used to make clothing, paper, and canvases. CBD is just a byproduct from that. It's not grown to actually produce CBD or help
for medicinal
people.
Purposes.
Correct. Whereas high-yield hemp, commonly referred to as medical-grade hemp, it's bred specifically for the purpose of a high-quality CBD product.
I'd like you to touch on some of these big companies, their extraction method of the CBD.
That's a great question. So, and this is especially true for companies overseas. I got to say, China's probably the most guilty party in this. A lot of companies are still using butane and hexane as an extraction process. Both are classified as a carcinogen and a neurostimulant. And there are still traces of butane and hexane in the product. So while CBD itself may not do anything, those traces of those harmful chemicals are harming and killing the clients that they're supposed to be helping.
And this is used to extract the CBD from the plant.
That's correct.
Chemicals.
That's correct. It's used to extract from the flower. It's essentially a chemical extraction process.
And how do you extract yours?
So I use a supercritical CO2 extraction process.
Okay.
There's no chemical residue left over. It's completely pressed out of there using heat and CO2 as the extraction method.
So much safer.
Much, much safer. Zero chemical residue left over. It's just the plants.
Good, great. So on another note here, what benefits could one expect from taking CBD, and what does it help with? What ailments?
That is a great question, and the better question is, what would it not help with?
Okay.
So the endocannabinoid system, all animals have their own
We produce our own.
endocannabinoid system. Correct. We produce our own, but as we age, we're exposed to radiation, sickness, stress, or what have
Toxins
you.
in the environment.
Exactly. We either produce different cannabinoids, we produce the wrong cannabinoids, or cannabinoid receptors change.
I see.
And that regulates everything in our body, from our hormonal systems, our circulatory system, our nervous system. Everything in our body is tied to the endocannabinoid system. Matter of fact,
Interesting.
they believe that the difference between a mother's breast milk and synthetic breast milk in terms of developmental properties is that mother's breast milk naturally has CBD in it, whereas synthetic does not.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a great point. And typically with CBD, it varies from case to case. But as far as the dosage for a human or a dog, I mean, topically, orally, what is it? What do you typically do?
So, my philosophy is something called the hammer approach.
Okay.
I want to find out if my clients are going to benefit from CBD immediately.
Okay.
A lot of companies out there are going to tell you start with a very small dosage. If it doesn't work, keep going up and up and up. And in my opinion, that is nothing but a sales strategy to get more sales and to get more cash.
Good point.
Because CBD itself is not harmful, I recommend starting with a much higher dosage and staying on that to see within a week you'll know if CBD is going to work for you or not.
And on that point, has CBD ever harmed anyone?
Excellent question. Can CBD harm somebody? No. Can a CBD product harm somebody? Yes. Going back to the butane hexane extraction.
Depending on where you buy this product.
Precisely. The quality of the product will dictate that. CBD by itself is completely innocuous. If you take an abundant amount of CBD, nothing's going to happen to you. You're either going to store it in your fatty deposits or you're going to excrete it out in your urine.
So the only way it's harmful is if you buy inferior CBD from overseas, then you have a problem. So again, the thing to take away here is it's all not created the same. You have to go for the gold standard, and I believe M&M Naturals has the gold standard. He's very dedicated to this. Explain, of course, Pharma wants to jump in on this cash cow. So explain, you told me a story of how Pharma actually tried to synthetically reproduce some CBD, and tell me what happened with that.
Yeah, they tried to reproduce cannabinoids, both CBD and THC, and it unfortunately led to the deaths of several people. The most common side effect, and again, you know this just as well as I do, there's no such thing as side effects, there's just effects.
Thank you.
People were bleeding out of their eyes, their ears, they were urinating blood, they were excreting blood from their mouths, their gums.
Oh my God,
they were bleeding.
that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
So how long was it in the market, roughly?
It was on the market for only a few weeks.
And then they pulled it.
They pulled it immediately. There were several deaths in this state, in Wisconsin, and thankfully they did not do a nationwide release. It was fairly isolated. So unfortunately there were deaths, but it was minimized, and yeah, it was extremely harmful.
So touching back on the benefits, this could be for pain relief, anti-cancer, I mean several things. You know better than me as far as what this could be used for relieving.
Oh, it's been fantastic. The stories are endless. I've seen people treat cancer with it successfully. I've seen people who've been completely debilitated with seizures, including small children who had up to 70 seizures a day on 13 different medications. They're completely medication free, and they've been seizure free after just 2 weeks on the product.
That's interesting.
I've seen people treat arthritis with it, insomnia with it, various types of inflammation, joint pain, even treating aspects of addiction with it, which is one of the newest things that they've been showing, is that CBD can actually help rewire the addiction processes in your hormonal systems and the neurochemistry in your brain. So the possibilities for this seem endless.
And you mentioned to me that since this upturn in the last 24 months, everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. I think you mentioned a couple of big players in the game are going to try to buy up all the CBD and market it to Target, Walmart, as this really low-end, cheap product. You mentioned it to me.
That is correct. So there are 3 major companies that have bought up a tremendous amount of the raw hemp products on the market for the purposes of making mass production, exactly. A very, very cheap quality CBD, but also cheap in terms of the price.
And no effects.
And very little effects. Very, very little.
So they're jumping on this bandwagon.
They are, and they're trying to undercut the industry currently. And they're trying to get things on, like you said, 7-Eleven, Target, Walmart, gas stations.
Just flood the market because it's a catchphrase. Ooh, CBD. But again, I'm seeing it everywhere. And really, folks, be careful out there. It's all not the same. And you really need to do your due diligence and your homework.
Very well said. And, they're not leaving all the beneficial plant materials. They're not looking at the growing processes. They're just shoving in what's known as CBD isolate.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, that has its effects and it has its uses. But to market it as just CBD and to try to say everything is the same, they're doing a huge disservice to people and pets by saying that and by flooding the market with, at very best, a mediocre product.
And how does someone check to see if CBD is safe? Is there a site or something they can go to, or what would they do for that?
Excellent question. So the first two things they should really look at, one, always talk about the strain and where it's sourced from, because if it's grown in China, a lot of people don't know this, the Chinese will actually grow hemp as a way to extract heavy metals from the field. So when they use those products and they start extracting from them, people find lead, they find mercury, they find all sorts of things in it. So to see the strain and where it's sourced is first and foremost the most important. And number two is something called the COA, which stands for a Certificate of Analysis.
Okay.
Every company should be posting this on their website, or if you go to a fair or an expo, they should have the paperwork showing the CBD levels, the THC levels, one, to make sure it's legal, and two, to make sure it's safe, it doesn't have the heavy metals in it, toxins,
so
anything
if you don't
that.
see this, stay away, probably.
Exactly. It's not worth the risk. There's a good amount of companies out there that show that they are producing a safe and effective product, and they have the paperwork from the labs to show that.
Very, very good. Okay, Dexter, you brought a couple of products here, so let's go over them. So let's start with this one first, and what this is and benefits of each three.
All right, so the first product here is a CBD spray. This is perfect for somebody who's more on the go. The most common person that actually buys this are my professional athlete clients. I have several UFC fighters, professional cyclists, CrossFit athletes,
and what's the
gym owners.
purpose?
For this one, it is to relieve localized pain and inflammation, as well as skin issues. So people use this for sunburn.
Oh.
Let's say if they work out, or if they're doing, let's say, jiu-jitsu practice and their muscles are sore, they can spray it, rub it on their body, and to get a good effect out of this, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Good
and it
for
works.
maybe rashes and stuff too?
Rashes as well. It has a lot of organic plant materials in there from other
Great.
medicinal plants such as aloe and shea. It's fantastic, and people see results because genetics vary from person to person, anywhere from 20 seconds to 20 minutes.
Holy cow, that's fast.
It is incredibly fast.
Cool. And the second product you brought with?
The second product is our CBD cream. This is made from all organic materials. It's very, very similar to the spray. It's not as friendly as on the go, but if you have, let's say, a product that you want to keep in your kitchen, your nightstand, or your refrigerator for the exact same purposes, it lasts a little bit longer, and it's fantastic. It has a beautiful chocolate smell with it as well.
Great. And last but not least, the actual the CBD tincture.
This is our CBD tincture, and this really is the gold standard. And, I'm famous for saying, CBD isn't a miracle supplement, but if CBD can do something, my CBD will do something. And this is this product. It comes from the strongest hemp strain in the world. I'm constantly changing up my strains to ensure that people are always getting the premier product on the planet.
That's a good point. You've been culturing this strain, right?
That's correct. I've gone through and I talk to the leading geneticists and researchers in the field on a weekly basis.
Great.
To see what has innovated, what has come out, who has done this, and when something better comes out, I jump on it. So about every 3-4 months is usually when I
like
switch.
that. So you're basically saying you're evolving.
I am constantly evolving.
That is great.
I call it CQI, constant quality improvement.
There you go. That's great. So we have our 3 products here. There's something else you wanted to say?
Yes. So if somebody has more internal issues, let's say insomnia, diabetes, various forms of cancer have also been shown to be essentially not necessarily treated but supplemented by this, to where it has helped people survive
longer,
very, very debilitating conditions.
Yeah. And make a better quality of life.
Oh, for sure. I mean, at the very least, and this is where my products differ from others, I have a 30-day money-back guarantee on it. If somebody does not see results within 30 days, I don't deserve their cash. I give them a full refund.
Especially for pain. We all know about the opioid painkillers and how many people have died from that. So if anybody says this is dangerous, I always say, let's compare this to opioid painkillers. Let's get real, America. So we got these 3 great products here. So we're going to have links below, several links below on the benefits. We'll have a link to M&M Naturals. So definitely you're going to want to add this to your repertoire if you have any kind of ailments or problems, or anybody who you know that could benefit from this. Definitely, it's the wave of the future, and it's completely safe compared to pharma. I mean, just completely safe. So in closing, please like this video and subscribe, and check me out on the social media. So if you're struggling with any kind of illness, get on the CBD. Say bye, Chloe. Bye.